Hello from London. I'm Max, an English literature student, and I'm excited to share my London experience with you. Join me on this journey through the chapters of my life in this dynamic city, where I encountered a remarkable teacher and had some memorable encounters. On a gorgeous summer day, I found myself on a train, the air alive with the energy of the season. Seated across from me were two women engaged in conversation, speaking fluent English. As a beginner in my English studies, their dialogue was a bit challenging to comprehend. Undeterred, I decided to initiate a conversation with them. With a few words in basic English, I conveyed my thoughts, and to my delight, the women understood and responded. Expressing my eagerness to learn English, I discovered that these women were from England, heading home from a conference. Despite my limited vocabulary, our conversation persisted for about 10 minutes. As the train approached the next station, it was time for me to bid farewell. In a surprising and generous gesture, the women shared their address and phone number, inviting me to visit them in England. With warm goodbyes, our paths diverged after this unexpected and enriching encounter. I dedicated myself to improving my English skills by translating texts and watching films every day. In just 6 months, I witnessed a significant enhancement in my proficiency, but my thirst for learning more urged me to take a bold step. I decided to go to London. In this vibrant city, I enrolled in a school to delve deeper into the intricacies of the English language. My first lesson, which took place on a Monday, introduced me to a group of fellow students and our young, amiable teacher. The initial interactions were pleasant as we shared a bit about ourselves before diving into the lesson. Our teacher, recognizing the importance of effective language learning, presented a simple yet impactful method. She emphasized that we wouldn't focus on traditional studying or reading textbooks. Instead, the key was to immerse ourselves in the daily use of English. This approach resonated with me, as I found traditional textbooks confusing and less engaging. We engaged in discussions about the significance of learning a new language. Our teacher highlighted that language is a tool for communication, a means to express ideas and thoughts. In essence, the best way to learn a new language is to actively use it for communication and expression. This philosophy became the guiding principle of our course. We would speak and utilize English extensively. Our teacher addressed a common pitfall among students, relying on rote memorization of words and studying grammar rules without actively using the language for speaking. The emphasis on practical, real-life communication proved to be a refreshing and effective approach, aligning with my preference for hands-on learning over traditional textbook methods. In the course, it became evident that many students were studying about the language but not actively using it. Our teacher emphasized the difference between studying the language and practicing it in daily life. While acknowledging the necessity of learning new words and grammar, the focus shifted to practical, daily application. Our teacher introduced a straightforward and effective method for learning vocabulary and grammar. The emphasis was on a hands-on approach, and I resonated with this philosophy. The lessons continued with discussions about our hobbies and how we spent our free time. Engaging in conversations, whether in pairs or with the teacher, brought a sense of enjoyment to the learning process. This system proved to be highly effective for me, aligning with my preference for practical learning. In Chapter 2, titled, How I Learned Vocabulary, the teacher addressed a question from a fellow student. What is the best way to learn new words? The teacher shared a statistically proven method, reading. Reading allows people to learn new words at a pace twice as fast as those who don't read. The recommendation was to dedicate at least 30 minutes every day to reading. The teacher provided insights into maximizing the benefits of reading. It was stressed that the chosen book or text should be interesting to the reader, aligning with their preferences, be it fiction or non-fiction. The importance of enjoying the reading experience was emphasized, as frustration could arise when encountering unfamiliar words. For effective learning, the teacher advised using a dictionary when encountering unknown words. By looking up the word's meaning, a better understanding of the text could be achieved, and the knowledge of the word would be retained in the memory. This method eliminated the need to write down every new word, ensuring that the words naturally became ingrained in the learner's mind. Additionally, the teacher highlighted the advantage of reading and understanding how each word is connected to others in a sentence. This holistic approach to learning new words proved to be highly effective. The overall message was clear: try this method, and witness the rapid improvement in learning new words. Continuing with the lesson, we delved into the discussion about the employment landscape in England and explored the best job options for students. This caught my interest as I was eager to find a job to fill my spare time after school. Seeking advice from fellow students, I inquired about the best places to find suitable part-time work. The consensus was clear: I should visit the job center. Students shared their positive experiences, highlighting that job centers often offer a variety of positions tailored for students like me. This information brought me joy, knowing that I now had a reliable source for job opportunities. After concluding my day at school, I headed to the job center. Uncertain about the type of job that would be the best fit for me, I approached the lady at the job center for guidance. I asked her about the ideal job for a student, and she promptly informed me that they had several suitable options. She suggested roles like being a cleaner or working as a waiter in a cafe, expressing my lack of experience in these particular jobs. I voiced my concerns. However, the lady assured me that my English proficiency was sufficient for cafe work. She mentioned that the training was straightforward, and working in a cafe would provide more opportunities for me to practice and enhance my English skills compared to a cleaning position. This insight gave me confidence, and I left the job center with a newfound enthusiasm for exploring job opportunities in the near future. The lady at the job center informed me that I could commence my new job on Thursday, and this news brought a wave of happiness over me. I was thrilled to have a job where I could actively practice and improve my English skills. The prospect of incorporating language learning into my work routine added an extra layer of excitement. On Wednesday, as I returned to school, I noticed a student in the class who seemed quieter than the others. Later, during the session when our teacher invited questions, the student from South Korea spoke up. He expressed his struggle with pronunciation, acknowledging that he knew his pronunciation wasn't very strong but wasn't sure how to enhance it. The student confided that he refrained from speaking much due to concerns about others hearing his less than perfect pronunciation. The common challenge of pronunciation. She assured the student that she would share insights into improving pronunciation and introduce techniques beneficial for all. This statement sparked curiosity and anticipation among the students. To initiate our exploration into pronunciation improvement, the teacher delved into the reasons behind students facing challenges in this aspect. She explained the necessity of mouth movement and the use of facial muscles when speaking, a fundamental aspect of pronunciation. This insightful beginning set the stage for a more profound understanding of pronunciation intricacies. We use our muscles when speaking, and the challenge arises when speaking English using the same muscle patterns as in our native language. This often leads to differences in pronunciation compared to native speakers. While this is a common issue for many students learning English, it's not a significant problem, as people generally understand the intended meaning even with imperfect pronunciation. However, there is a way to enhance pronunciation through a highly effective technique known as shadowing. Shadowing is a straightforward method where you imitate the sounds you hear. Drawing a parallel to how children learn their first language by imitating their parents, this technique involves repeated copying until pronunciation becomes refined. To apply this to English, you can use videos or audio recordings at a manageable pace and understand them well. By listening and mimicking the sounds, you gradually refine your pronunciation. Our teacher demonstrated the shadowing technique by finding quality videos on www.youtube.com. We watched and collectively attempted shadowing for about 3 minutes. Our teacher emphasized that shadowing is not only beneficial for everyday improvement but also serves as a valuable tool when preparing for an English presentation. If you spend about 10 minutes shadowing alone before a presentation, you'll likely notice significant improvement in your pronunciation during the actual presentation. This technique fascinated me, as it was entirely new to my language learning experience. After the lesson, I approached the school reception to inquire about sports activities, expressing my interest in engaging in some physical activities during my time in England. The lady at the reception informed me that the school indeed has a table tennis team and a football team. Excitingly, the football team had training scheduled for later that day at 5 o'clock. This news brought immense joy to me as sports play a crucial role in my life. I attended the football team's training, where I had the pleasure of meeting players from various countries, including Brazil, Japan, Russia, Spain, Argentina, and Italy. The diversity of the team added to my excitement, and I thoroughly enjoyed the training session. It marked a positive beginning to my time in England, where I not only had a great teacher but also made new friends through the football team. Additionally, I was set to start my job the next day. I felt grateful for the promising start to my journey in England. Recalling the importance of good pronunciation, I remembered the advice to repeat after native speakers. As I embraced this practice, I looked forward to improving my spoken English. On Thursday, as I returned to school, a new student named Elizabeth joined our class. My teacher, recognizing Elizabeth from her visit 1 year ago during a beginner's class held for 2 weeks in the summer holidays, asked her some introductory questions. Elizabeth, hailing from Italy, spoke with remarkable beauty, displaying excellent pronunciation and fluency. The teacher expressed her delight, commenting on the quality of Elizabeth's English and assuming her school in Italy must be excellent. To this, Elizabeth shared that she didn't attend a school but learned English at home, employing techniques she had acquired from our teacher. Her methods included extensive reading, shadowing, and thinking aloud, emphasizing a shift to thinking more in English than in Italian. Elizabeth credited the 2 weeks spent in our teacher's class the previous summer for her significant progress. She expressed her eagerness to continue learning and improve her English further, a sentiment that filled our teacher with joy and appreciation for Elizabeth's hard work. I found Elizabeth's insights about the thinking aloud technique intriguing. While I was familiar with reading and the shadowing technique, thinking aloud was new to me. Curious to learn more, I approached our teacher and inquired about this method. Our teacher explained that thinking aloud is a highly effective technique, but success depends on having a strong motivation to learn English. She added that some might find it unconventional, but the results can lead to rapid improvement in spoken English. Undeterred by its unconventional nature, I expressed my eagerness to learn this technique, emphasizing my strong motivation to enhance my English skills. I asked our teacher if she could teach us this method. Our teacher gladly agreed, describing the process as straightforward. She highlighted that we spend our days thinking in our native language. And now, the goal is to shift to thinking in English. Once we achieve that, we can start thinking aloud, articulating our thoughts aloud. To further explain the effectiveness, our teacher suggested asking Elizabeth for more insights, given her experience with the technique. Our teacher then sought Elizabeth's permission to share her thoughts on thinking aloud. Elizabeth willingly shared her journey, acknowledging that when she began, she struggled with expressing simple sentences like, "I can speak English," or "I want to be better." The challenge stemmed from her habit of thinking in Italian, resulting in lengthy and complicated thoughts that were difficult to express in English. Over time, Elizabeth successfully transitioned to thinking in simple English, a pivotal step in the effectiveness of the technique. Elizabeth shared an interesting anecdote about meeting a man from Australia during her early days of learning. Despite being a beginner, she engaged in English conversation without translating from Italian in her head. This encounter marked a turning point, encouraging Elizabeth to incorporate thinking aloud more into her routine. The technique significantly contributed to improving her speaking skills, and she continues to use it daily. Our teacher expressed gratitude to Elizabeth for sharing her valuable experience with thinking aloud. Inspired by Elizabeth's success, I decided to adopt this technique to enhance my speaking skills. The advice resonated with me. When you want to speak English fluently, think aloud. I committed to incorporating reading, listening, thinking aloud, and speaking into my daily routine, dedicating 30 minutes to each activity. Click a video on screen now. If you enjoy this story, then like this video and subscribe this channel now. Also do comment your story or any suggestions. And don't forget to share.